There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Man, Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast. I am your host, Nick, and this is a Rod Serling podcast. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fifth Dimension podcast. I want to see how
And
fast
you
I can
started
do
out
that.
with such just energy and conviction. I was like, do it. Oh, there we go.
People are going to listen to that. They're like, wait, am I listening to like 2.5 times speed now? What's going on, people?
You know, I've got one thing to say about that.
What's that?
Wow.
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 My cat's looking at me weird.
My cat's hiding under the sheets. I don't know
Wow.
why. Wow.
Wow.
Anyways, so we're here. We're back to talk another Twilight Zone Rod Serling episode. Surprisingly, this is Triv's least favorite episode of all time.
Oh,
One
piss
of the
off.
worst she said of all time, you know.
Piss off!
She said if we ever talk about this episode is that she will castrate a monkey. So
I'll
I don't know.
castrate you. I'll drive down there and castrate you and then drive away.
You
also
gotta,
take
you
your
gotta, you gotta
mother
break
for a
into the
nice
pleasure.
dinner.
Area.
Millimeter shrine.
Yeah,
I'll
right,
also take
right.
your mother for a nice dinner and not call her the next day.
Oh man. Oh man. So anyways, so yeah, right.
When you find out who she is, let me know.
Oh shit. So anyways, yes, we are talking Twilight Zone. We're talking a new episode. We were gone last week and I blame Jacob for that, even though it really was Triv's fault. But no, I'm kidding. No,
I'll
yeah,
take blame.
No,
remember whose
in
fault
all
it was.
honesty, things happened. We had unfortunately not put out a new episode for last week, but it's all right. Because not listening to us may be a good sign of getting better in the long run. So
The less you watch us, the better we get.
yeah.
How does
Or the
how does
better we
that
get,
work?
the less you watch. Yeah, we'll go with that.
No.
So anyways, we're here to talk new episode. Yeah, to allow it. Oh man. I'll definitely use that meme for this episode because I'll definitely allow this episode to be a great episode. I was
Oh,
pleasantly
that's so
surprised.
nice of you. I'm just
And I did not Trip did not
pay.
pay me $10 to say that. I promise you. She gave me hard Mountain Dew instead, which you can't see because of reasons and copyrights, I guess. I don't know. How you guys doing? How you doing, Triv? How you doing, Jacob? Both are here as my usual co-host. They come with me on this wacky adventure that we call the Twilight Zone Fifth Dimension podcast. But clearly we are three individuals with nothing better to do, and you know, I don't know. Help me out. How you guys doing? Before
I just got
on.
back. I just got back from a wicked world and my theater got destroyed. So that's fun.
Oh yeah. You guys need to watch that episode because it's quite fun with past and present guest TYTD.
Yeah, that and
TD.
you randomly
TD.
What'd you call him last week?
TD.
Well, that and Nick makes an unexpected appearance.
I heard. I saw. I witnessed.
I haven't watched
heard.
it yet. Do you?
Yeah.
Apparently I was privy to her recent episode. So you should have gotten the Everything Ever All at Once. The googly eyes.
I know there's some googly eyes.
Yeah.
Hang on here. There we go.
See if you had that a little bit
third
lower.
arm, or you just happy to see us?
Yeah. Actually, let me
just have that a
let me-
little bit lower.
No. What the
What's the
hell?
mod-
There. That's better, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that indeed.
I'm fantastical.
You're fantastical.
Yeah,
Are you watching us with your third eye?
I am. I think he's chroma keying out. Okay,
I mean, it's better than the can of invisibility soda. Invisibility. So, without further ado, Triv, you are a woman of many tastes when it comes to the Twilight Zone. One episode that you've
Many
been
tastes.
flogging us to watch and talk about is, of course, season 2, episode 28, which is called the Will the Real Will the real Martian please stand up? I can't speak. That's like a tongue twister. Will the real Martian please stand up? You got to say that 16 times.
Will the real Martian please stand up? 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 Will the real Martian
I did
please
this on
stand up?
purpose, right,
Will
Jacob?
the real Martian please stand up? Will the real Martian please stand up?
We're
Will the
testing to
real
see
Martian
we're testing to see how drunk Triv is, or how drunk I am apparently.
Yeah,
That
there
3
you go.
times.
Yeah.
Man, that Mountain Dew was stronger than I thought it was going to be.
That's what she said.
All right. Anyways, this is directed by Montgomery Pittman, written by Rod Serling, production code 173-3660, air date May 26, 1961. Stars John Hoyt, Gene Willis, Jack Elam, who is amazing in this episode, even though I think he's in a different episode. Barney Phillips, John Archer, William Kendis, and Morgan Jones, as well as some other people. This episode was an episode I don't remember very well, or at least I thought I remembered better than I did, because this ending was a lot different than I remember. But we'll talk about that later on. But Triv, I'll go to you in a second. But Jacob, did you remember anything about this episode at all? Do you remember the Barney Phillips stuff? Like, is it one of those episodes that
I remember when it started, I was like, yeah, I've seen this, but I couldn't remember like any of the details about it. I remember the basics, people. I like those kind of things, single set, trying to figure out who's the thing. And I remember that. And I remember, of course, there was going to be a twist. And it wasn't until I did so that was kind of cool, because I got to watch it and I was kind of like, I didn't know what was going to happen, or who it was going to be. But when the end happened, it all came back to me. Like when the ending, when the hat was removed, that iconic shot or picture of the person, I was like, oh yeah, now I remember all of this. And it came back, and I was like, yeah. And then when he like told the other twist, the double twist, like, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny, because I don't know. I mean, Triv, I actually asked you this question. I know you really like this episode. You've mentioned it many times. Is this one of those episodes that pops up in a lot of people's top tens, or a lot of people's like New Year's Day collection?
I do think that I remember seeing it multiple times. I've not seen a Twilight Zone marathon in a while, but I mean, it was one I always remember seeing, and I think that's probably why I got to love it so much, was because it was on at least once every marathon. Well, obviously it wouldn't be on more than once every marathon, but it was on every marathon, and it seemed like it showed up pretty regularly when it was on just normal rotations and such.
Right. Yeah, because it's an episode that is very simple in what it's trying to do, but also very complex in its character arcs and stuff like that. It's like not Red Scare. What was back in the 60s, like
The
kind
Iron
of scare?
Curtain? Oh,
like scare.
Yeah, it was the
like
Red Scare. It was the Red Scare.
Yeah, that's what this episode feels like. It feels
McCarthyism.
like one of those...
It was also McCarthyism kind of led into that.
Right, because it's an interesting episode, because there's not what I would call like a structure to it. It's more a bunch of people who are accusing each other, which is a paranoia in a lot of respects, which I think goes into the McCarthyism and stuff like that. And I really
like it, because it shares a lot in common with it. It's like a lighthearted version of one of your favorite episodes.
The monsters.
Yeah.
It's more lighthearted, but man, it gets super dark. I have to ask you this. Well, actually, no, I'll wait to ask you this till we get closer to the end. But the episode kind of took me by surprise, because I've been anticipating like the Obsolete Man for a while as an episode. I was like really excited to talk about, and we'll talk about that next week. But I think what's nice sometimes when you watch, I don't know if you guys agree, but sometimes when you watch the Twilight Zone, you watch an episode that just you don't know what to expect going in, and you go in and you're like, holy shit, that was actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be. And I know Triv, you really like this episode, but after watching this episode, did you feel the same way, Jacob, or are you a little tepid on it? Because I know you're a little different sometimes when it comes to them.
I figured I was gonna like this one because I had heard about it. I don't, you asked a few minutes ago if it was top 10 in a lot of lists. I don't know if not my opinion, but I don't know if I ever not that my ears to the ground as much as some, but if it's ever like, if I ever hear about this one being in the top 10, but it is a well received episode and it's a famous one, if nothing else,
Right.
for the final few shots.
Absolutely.
It's a well known episode. It's one that you hear talked about when you talk about Twilight Zone, and it does have a lot of. It is a very. I've said it before. It's like the classic. It's a classic Twilight Zone episode.
Mhm.
It's got all the Twilight Zoney quirks and hallmarks in it. I thought so. Yeah, I figured I was gonna like it, and then when I saw that it was gonna be mostly single location, confined, lots of people with a hook. I like those kind of stories.
Right.
Except
I
for
Well,
that
looked
one
up
movie. What was that movie that
Oh.
I had on my top 10 worst last year that
The
you liked?
Matrix.
No, it was fucking, that was the year before last. No, the one with the nail gun shit that I fucking hated, and it was kind of like that. It was like all the people nobody
Nail
knew
gun
was the
shit.
bad guy. Not Get Out. I don't know, whatever it was called, with a girl and like the kidnappers and all that shit. I don't know why I just went on a rant about that.
That's
but whatever.
okay.
Kidnappers. Oh my god, I should know this, and I don't.
You know what movie I'm talking about
Um,
where they're snowed in at the lodge?
Oh, I mean, it was fine. Yeah, no exit. Yeah, I know you really hated
Not
that
fine.
movie. Yeah.
Awful.
Um,
But yeah, that's another one.
actually,
I
Pace
should've-
Magazine. I say Pace Magazine puts us at number 34.
I was just going to
they-
mention that. So
Was
Oh,
it that
okay.
low?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Or
right,
not
right
low,
above
high?
Mighty the Meek. But it's an Agatha
we'll see where
Christie
it
who done it
falls.
meets John Carpenter's The Thing.
well, I've just
Um,
got done watching a whole bunch. I go through, you go through like times when you like watch a variety of movies that kind of revolve around
Yeah.
the same thing. I just watched a bunch of like Leviathan and Sphere and all those where
Leviathan.
you're underneath where you're
Peter
at like
Weller.
a science lab underneath the water where it's a confined space and there's a monster on the loose. I mean, it's
Leviathan.
like
Leviathan
like-
is the one with Peter Weller, right? Or is
Yes.
that Deep Star 6? Yeah, okay.
no, that's Leviathan. But yeah, all those
What's-
like
No, I was gonna say, what's the one with the deep water suit on the cover? Is that deep?
That's Deep Star 6.
yeah. Deep Star
Okay,
Six.
with
Or
like
no,
the
that might be
lights.
Leviathan as well. There's similar
They have really
movies.
big they all kind of have that same, like all of those kind of have the same thing. They have really big suits in Leviathan, so that's probably what you're thinking.
It's that whole Armageddon Elijah Wood meteor movie thing, and Volcano and
yeah.
Dante's Peak. It's like two movies that came out around the same time that have a similar premise. Deep
Yeah.
water monster, yada yada.
Oh,
Exactly.
Leviathan was done by the director of Tombstone.
That's a pretty
Leviathan
decent
was
movie.
the bigger movie,
Yeah.
the more
Was it?
popular movie than Deep Star 6. Deep Star 6 was a little bit lower budgeted, but it's, I don't know. I like both of them.
I've never actually seen Deep Star 6. It's on my list, but just have never gotten to it
I've
yet.
never seen it either.
But yeah, so anyway, but yeah, you get that monster thing where you're in a place. I mean, and it's the thing, it's any of those. You can even say
Yeah.
like Murder on the Orient Express to
Mhm.
some extent too, only without the monster factor. But
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It really does feel like The Thing, because The Thing is all about, once again, it's about paranoia and the idea of individuals accusing each other of like certain things, and the whoever the real monster is, like this is. I'm actually kind of wondering if The Thing is actually inspired by this episode. I mean, I
the
don't know.
thing
offhand.
actually came out before, like the original thing
Oh yeah,
from
yeah, that's
from
right.
outer
Space.
space, what came out in I
Yeah.
think 58.
Right. That's right. I forgot about
But
that.
there's so many of these, like in the 60s, a lot of these B movies
Mhm.
are about like a monster that lands undercover.
Monster
And
Among Us.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
paranoia thing, it all
that's
leads into
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
They
It's
were
like the
all
nuclear
afraid that
threat.
there were like agents out there that were Russian agents and all that were among us and infiltrating
Yeah.
us, because there probably were.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I think I like this episode so much. Is I like paranoia stuff. I like the 3 Days of the Condor and all those types of movies, like the Conversation, and then you have like this, and you have I'm not a huge fan of The Thing, but I like the concept of The Thing, and like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I like those
Wait.
ideas.
Yeah, I was kind of saying that
Yeah.
too.
I was trying to move forward past this whole.
Well, what did you
Mhm.
say?
I'm not. I have many movies that are very popular, like Pulp Fiction and The Thing, and maybe I don't know. I think of some other films, maybe
You shall
Reservoir
not
Dogs.
speak ill of The Thing in my presence.
Exactly, asshole.
I wish I
John
liked The
Carpenter's
Thing
The
like a
Thing.
lot of people do.
is the greatest horror movie ever made.
Sir, I would
ranks
fight
right
with
up
you
there.
on
Not
John
an
Carpenter's
opinion.
Halloween.
It's fact.
Hey, fact is more like fiction.
Of those two, I think that Thing is probably better. Although for me,
where's
I'm loving the Mouth
where's
of
the pause button
Madness.
on this thing?
You can
We're
have
gonna
your
we're gonna fight
opinion.
this out virtual style.
You can have your opinion, Nick. You can have your opinion.
I know it's the
just
correct
wrong.
one. I am the host, damn it.
Damn.
My opinions are the correct. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Opinion is wrong.
In the Mouth of Madness is pretty great too.
And then
Yeah,
Sam
I just don't
Neill
like that
just-
ending. The ending where he's like laughing at the theater is a little weird, but yeah. Anyways,
Tangent.
like I said, I really like the whole conspiracy, the whole psychosis thing when it comes to accusing people. I love that, like not all the President's Men, the 12 Angry Men, stuff like that. It's just there's something uniquely interesting about pitting people against people, and I love the fact that this episode, it opens up to cops. We see nothing, but we hear noises of a UFO crash landing. And I actually like the background, the feel of the opening. It feels like, even though it's on a set, it feels like what Ed Wood would try to do, but better. Like the fake set, but like a very sci-fi horror feel to it. And
It felt
the
bigger
cops,
than it was.
yeah, right. And you can see in the background, you can see like the lights of the UFO and stuff like that. And
They did a great depth of field with that.
yeah. It's a well shot episode for it's very simplified in a place called the High Something Cafe.
The Highway
Yeah,
Cafe. And
Highway
that
Cafe.
it makes good.
Cayuga.
Cayuga.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Whatever. That's the name of his production company or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they shot it backwards, like specifically they mirrored the image.
But that's
and-
where the this takes place.
Oh, does it?
Okay.
Because
Oh,
it even
nice.
says the cafe and it says Cayuga something.
I was gonna say because the Highway Cafe makes that exterior makes tons of appearances throughout the series. Like the one Prime Mover, what's the one? Like anyone that has an exterior of a cafe has that. I think Nick of Time has that. It's a pretty common exterior. Didn't
you say this was the same bus company in Mirror Image?
No. Well, possibly, but this is it says Cayuga Bus on the side of the bus. I think I read in the trivia.
Is that where?
And they mirror it, so it's backwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the bus. I'm looking
Yeah.
at it now. The bus says Cayuga Bus.
Okay,
something.
the bus near the end of the of the episode is shown with the passengers boarding on what is considered the driver's side of the vehicle. Thus, the film was purposefully edited in mirror image with the word Cayuga spelled in reverse before filming. Or
Oh,
bus...
really? Because I'm looking at in the beginning. It shows it in the very beginning before they're already off, and like it just like pans across and it says Cayuga as they're walking in. So that was backwards.
Apparently, later in the episode, it is.
Oh, not that they were walking back. Okay, so it was just revert, like they flipped it.
They flipped the image.
I got you.
Oh, kind of like like ambulances behind you. You see the ambulance in the.
Yeah, exactly. I did have to laugh though because the one guy describes the owner of that bus company as a rum runner, and in theory, because it's Cayuga, it's owned by Rod Serling.
Nice.
Oh, you're right. They are getting in on the
Passenger driver's side.
driver's side. That's weird. I didn't realize that until just now. They're getting in on the driver's side, and I guess that. I mean,
well, that's.
It looks like it's straight to me. I mean, it looks like it's going the right way, but if they flipped it.
See, that's the great thing about this episode. It's all about misdirection. It's all about playing off the ideas of, like, for instance, we'll talk about Jack Elam. The guy's bonkers. His eyes are, the way he's like really weird looking. He's like, that really like weird prospector guy that's just crazy and stuff like that. And but before I want to, yeah, exactly. But before we do that, I want to talk about how Rod Serling is just hiding behind a rock as he does his introduction.
Yeah, he
He's
literally
like,
steps out of a rock.
right. He's just standing there smoking a cigar, his cool Oasis cigar or cigarette. So, Jacob, I'll let you do this is a long narration. I forgot how long this narration was.
It is a little lengthy, but let's do this thing. Wintry February night, the present order of events, a phone call from a frightened woman noting the arrival of an unidentified flying object. Then the checkout you've witnessed. with 2 state troopers verifying the event, but with nothing more enlightening to add beyond evidence of some tracks leading across the highway to a diner. You've heard of trying to find a needle in a haystack? Well, stay with us now, and you'll be part of an investigating team whose mission is to not find the proverbial needle. No, their task is even harder. They've got to find a Martian in a diner. And in just a moment, you'll search with them because you've just landed in the Twilight Zone.
That is some wordplay. I'm telling you what. Rod Serling is just like, watch my ejaculative words just spray all over the place. It's really good stuff.
But it's potent. Yes.
Yeah, his ejaculative poetry.
Ejaculate. Okay.
On that note, the first draft of this thing was called Night of the Big Rain, and the second was called Nobody Here But Us Martians.
It's good stuff. I see that makes it. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, will the real Martian please stand up versus Nobody Here But Us Martians? I actually kind of like Nobody Here But Us Martians a little bit better for a title.
Like,
it flows off your tongue better.
Like all
so you can enjoy
kill.
that ejaculate of
I like when things flow off the tongue better.
Yes.
They blow.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this episode, there's not really, like I said, there's not really a structure to it. It's just people in a diner. The cops walk in. They're apparently Mounties, Canadian Mounties. At least they're dressed like Canadian Mounties.
I just figured they were dressed like state cops of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very
maybe it's
interesting
in
outfit.
Canada, we just didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. They're Canucks.
Yeah, they are. They're Dudley Do-Rights, you know. Anyway, so they walk in and they're like, "We're looking for a UFO," and these people are like, "You heard us right. Look at our flashlights. We're looking for a UFO." They have no weapons. They have flashlights. They're just pointing flashlights to keep people quiet, and it's good stuff. It really is. But there's a whole group of people. There's a couples. There's an old man with a hat who's drinking apparently 14 cups of coffee. There's weird, crazy old man. There's the bus driver. Yeah,
14 cups of coffee.
Yeah, $1.49 a piece.
Yeah, no, it was $1.49 altogether.
No, I'm just saying. Oh, yeah, you're right. 60 cent pancakes or whatever, hot cakes.
And special of the day is beef stew.
Right.
Like what it cost this entire bus to eat for all these hours, you could not get a meal at a fast food restaurant nowadays.
No.
Everybody in this episode, the troopers, the people in the diner, everybody is just really accepting and cool with this whole situation. I mean, there's a few of them that kind of like, even they're kind of like, what? A fucking Martian is more like, oh my. I mean, like the troopers, when they first see it, they're just like, yep, it's a UFO.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe like this was like a I don't know, holodeck that the Martian put together, and it was just like a test for somebody or something like that. It was actually, its own fake reality or something like that. I didn't know what exactly was going on. It's just really interesting because you also have like the really attractive woman, the bus driver who apparently wants to get some punani with the really attractive woman.
I did like that. But you remember her? She's the only one I remember. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. She's cool.
But I told you, Triv, because I know Jacob, you were busy, but I told you, Triv, that this felt like Clue a little bit, the movie Clue, where you have all these pieces of puzzle and people, and each person has like their own interesting, distinct personality and who it could be. It almost feels like there should be 12 endings just on who could be the real Martian.
It would have been so much cooler if in the end they were running around the diner on their side going,
and the clouds say, no, this is how it really happened. Yeah.
But then we need Tim Curry and he don't think he wasn't quite old enough yet for that.
Mr. Body.
Yes.
You're right. But basically it's like the whole episode, even after the act break and stuff like that, it's just a back and forth, like we're getting to know these. That's what's great about this episode. We're getting to know each person as they start blaming one another. It's actually kind of hilarious where like this is how dark humorous this episode is. Like, oh no, it's got to be the crazy wild-eyed crazy man Avery. No, it's got to be the woman. No, it's not. It's got to be the couple, but it can't be the couple. Well, I don't remember you having a mole on your face. It's that type of thing. It's just like,
yeah, they did a good job with the little misdirects. And then when things would start to kind of calm, like the record or the jukebox would go do
you think that this would have worked if they had been more serious? Because I got a very jovial tone out of the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every now and then it had like when the music come on and everything, but even then it was just still kind of jovial.
It was definitely
fun.
dark. It was definitely dark. Not satirical doesn't cover it right, but it had that dark humor going. I think it had to be like this. Had they, because if you do like you mentioned before, if you take it in a more serious tone, you end up with Monsters That Do on Maple Street.
Yeah. Do you guys think it would have worked with this specific one if they had like done it monster style, like super straight and just like totally
the diner
serious?
would have ended up in ruins.
Well, not that story, the same story, but instead of like playing it kind of, because it wasn't necessarily what they were saying or the story itself, it's how they played it and how they presented it. It was just very like loose and not in a bad way. It was just like the whole tone was just kind of jovial.
Well,
to a degree.
that's kind of why I was saying is, I know it's not Clue, but the reason I was saying it was like Clue is in the simple fact that movie is so weirdly dark, but also humorous in its tone. It's more humor than this episode, but just the idea of like these characters and how they are stereotypes and they are of a certain ilk of individuals. For instance, do you have a manifest? The cop asks, he's like, man, I'm just here to drive a bus. I don't get very much money. I think we're going to be dead broke in like 6 months or whatever. I'm just getting people he's like taking people over the border. He's like a bunch of, Mexicans from Mexico over to
he's
the
a
United
coyote.
States. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just running cocaine. And Cocaine Bear, that was me. I brought the Cocaine Bear to America. So, but no, that's
I think the other thing that makes it, if you wouldn't have had Jack Elam's character in this, I don't think it would have had quite that jovial tone, because everybody else was played within reason pretty straight by and large. But you bring him into the mix and he kind of like
he's
him alone equals all
he's the one with the
people.
crazy eyes.
He's like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have had him, I think it would have been played more evenly. And I think to some extent, he, as much as I love this episode, I do think he gets a little overdone at times. But I think that
it goes a little hard.
Yeah, but I do think it evens out. You have, these 8 or so people that are concerned about stuff, but they're like, pretty mild mannered about what's going on. Concerned but not like freaking out. And then you get him and he's like, bleh!
Hey, you know what makes this episode top 10, by the way?
What's that?
Jackie Elam, Avery the Crazy Man, is a Suburban Commando.
Nice.
Is he?
Yes, he is. He plays Colonel Dusty McCall. He was in the Cannonball Run as well. He was in a lot of westerns.
I'm not
Apple
surprised.
Dumpling Gang.
He was in a lot of westerns back
He's
then.
got the face to be in a lot of westerns.
Yeah. Him and the guy, what was the one that Texas Avery, who was in Back to the Future as well? Like that, they should have done like a buddy comedy, buddy road trip comedy. But no, like I said, there's a lot of back and forth. There's jukebox playing, and there's there's like light being turned off and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. And I put, is this a dino or a Gestapo? Oh, they said, is this a dino or a Gestapo headquarters? And I'm like, that's some good stuff. So
at one point, the kind of serious guy was called a lemon sucker. I kind of enjoyed that.
Lemon sucker.
Lemon sucker.
I think we got our sexicon word, a lemon sucker.
Lemon sucker.
Noting.
They say stuff like, Jackie, I think Jack Elam says, he's like, check them for wings. Maybe it's under their coat. I'm like, I don't think an alien has wings, but okay.
Well, they might. You don't know that.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah,
I'll allow
it.
Did you?
God.
I was gonna say, did you happen to see, being that Rush is like your bando choice?
Yes.
Did you see that they have a song in their 2012?
Yeah, 2112
album entitled The Twilight Zone.
Yep.
The episode
I love that song.
Yeah, the lyrics are, beneath his hat are the strangest lies. Beneath his hat, the strangeness lies. Take it off, he's got 3 eyes.
Yep. It's 2112 is actually is inspired by, I think it's about the disillusion of music and the abandon of music. So it's like an Orwellian story. Yeah. But yeah, the Twilight Zone song, yeah, it's all inspired by Rod. They're a huge Rod Serling fans, so or at least Neil Peart was.
That's Nick. You get in his car. He's like, rush or nothing in this car.
I know. Dude,
Rush
I
or
want to
die.
I gotta order their beer because they have I think it's a IPA.
IP freely? Cool.
Yeah, IP freely. I don't know why I put this. I also put he left it in the pond down by the UFO and then is able to tell about the pirates or something like that. I watched this earlier today, so I actually forgot all about all this stuff. But I also said that the woman says she's gonna belt the grandma or something like that. Did she say like something like that? She's gonna belt someone. Anybody remember?
I don't, but
Yeah, the woman, she says that she like left her wallet because they're asking her about her identity. She left it in a suitcase, which was shipped ahead. There's just a lot of, like I said, my notes are like single line notes and stuff like that. The single female says you gotta eliminate the couples, like I said earlier about the mole in the chin. The cops tells them to lock the back of the door, but there is no reason to because the alien can find a way to get out. It's just a lot of misdirect. It's a lot of you trying to figure out who the alien is. Even if you know the episode, it's still cleverly done and stuff like that. It leads up to the act break where, like I said earlier, the cop is holding everyone hostage with a flashlight. So that was funny. So, yeah, right.
Nobody move! I'll blind your ass.
I got one of those. I got one of those high powered laser lights. That type of thing. So
this thing doubles as a lightsaber.
Lights up the whole yard.
It's tactical, man. It's tactical.
But with that said,
my junk email.
He clipped out the newspaper clippings, like collect as many points, get a free like X-ray vision photo camera
flashlight.
But that's the act break. So where do you guys stand on it so far?
Man, I hate this episode. It's just bad on all levels. Figured. Yeah, I get the Christy
this
thing.
Shit.
It's just
Fuck this noise. Bring back 16mm. Try him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want the fever. I got a fever. The only thing that can have the fever is the fever.
Slot machines.
Yeah.
Fuck this. Perchance to Dream is number 1.
No.
It ain't that bad. I mean, let's not get carried away here.
But yeah, anyway, so what do you guys think?
I was liking the episode up to this point. I thought it was very evenly killed, and I was enjoying the who is it not, and I like how it was toying. It was obvious that it was toying with us. Like I knew the old man wasn't, obviously. Why? Because it kept pointing to him, and I was never 100. Who did you guys think it was? Were you guys doing that? I tried to kind of like let it wash over me and not figure out who it was, but the episode lends itself to you sitting there doing investigative work, sitting there trying to figure out who it is, but I tried not to. What about you guys? Did you have an idea of who it was? Or Trev, you knew.
Yeah, I will say back in the day, I tried, and I've seen this since way back, but when I started kind of thinking more about it, even though I knew, you try to pay attention to the clues that are dropped, if there's really clues, and really there are things that could stand out as to which one is the alien, but nothing is real concrete one way or the other. Like it misdirects, but the misdirects aren't really solid enough to say, well, it's clearly. I mean, you could always go the route of, the one doth protest too much, but even with that, it could just be people at that point in time were kind of that way. So
yeah,
I
knew who it was.
I unfortunately I kind of knew the character that because it's in the pictures and stuff like that. I didn't expect, like I said, I didn't expect the double twist that happens in this episode. So what ends up playing out? Actually, there's like a triple twist in this episode. It's kind of in a way. So no, I wasn't expecting it to be who it was, but I knew the other twist because unfortunately it had been ruined for me. Thanks, Trev. No, I'm kidding. No. Anyways, yeah, no, I guess I didn't really see it coming. It's just I think the person who's the Martian isn't actually it's a twist, but it isn't like as twisty as what the whole idea of what's happening is the most surprising thing, I guess. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, but Yeah, not at first. I didn't really know who it was. So,
Well, and you
is
could
it?
even say, because it's in the title as, okay, there's a Martian
Yeah.
somewhere in this thing. You could honestly say that that's not even really the twist part of it. You could say that last couple minutes of the things that happen, that's really the twist.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, 'cause
I thought who was the Martian though he was on my list, but that's only because he was some of the characters like didn't really contribute much. Like the woman, the pretty woman, the couple, they said something, but they had their moments and then they just really didn't say anything. I knew it had to have been one of the people that was consistently one of the main players, the people that were talking.
Yeah.
I doubted very much it was going to be somebody who was just off in the background the whole time, because that's how these things work.
Right.
They want it to be somebody who is in plain sight the whole time, and then in the end you're like, oh, if it ended up being this guy in the background that the camera never focused on, people would be like, who?
And the episode would not have been as memorable. It's about like in Walking Dead, whenever someone has a soliloquy or like a really heartfelt moment, 80% of the time they were the one that was going to either get turned or something big was going to happen to them because they were having their moment.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I would say that's a big thing in TV in general is when you start seeing a character who maybe
a lot of focus
character,
all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're like, why is I don't know,
you about to die.
Random character number 2? Yeah, why is random character number 2? And it's more the thing you were asking earlier, and what makes it also very interesting is the misdirects with the lights and the jukeboxes and even the call are simple enough that it could be anybody to do it. Like, you don't know. I mean, there could be it could be the air control pilot or air controller from Airplane, where he's just like fucking with the lights and shit. The one that he's like, and this guy is large. And
what about
him? It's a twister.
Since Triv, this is you going through it and knowing beat for beat what's going to happen. Were there, like you said, there wasn't really a lot, because I would be interested in going back and watching it and seeing if there was any cues that made me go, but you said there wasn't a lot of that.
I mean, there was the biggest thing that stands out, having seen it, knowing who it is, the way that the person goes on and on about, like, he's the only one that is really like, oh, well, this and that and the other thing. And, they piss and moan so much. Yeah. They're drawing so much attention to themselves and trying to push it off on everybody else. That aspect of it, in retrospect, is probably the thing I could say the most about. So, like, you hear all these other things coming up, as far as like even the bus driver, like, how do we know it was dark? How do we know that you're the bus driver that had us get on the bus?
Yeah, because you never see these people. They're already in the highway diner, so you have no. That's the other clever thing, is you have no idea who was on the bus. They can say they were on the bus. They can say this and this and this, but you don't know. The audience doesn't know, so you have no way of telling. So you can assume, that type of thing. It's like,
we're really dropped in the middle of the story, really.
Yeah.
I still can't get around. I mean, how cool everybody is with it. These guys walk in, we're looking for a Martian. Oh yeah, it could be any of you. One of you is an imposter. Oh,
well.
They're very
it's like the Eternals thing. It's like there's a gigantic fucking alien creature hanging out of the earth and his hands together. Like, wouldn't you say something about that? The whole country was destroyed.
Now, you could in theory say, and this is BS, but it would be one way to state it, being that you're in the Twilight Zone. You could also say, because they had been through the snowstorm and they had, the avalanche had kind of come down behind them, blocking the road. They went up ahead to find out that they couldn't, cross the bridge. They're kind of like, they've been through a pretty harrowing incident and the weather is shit. And I'm sure the bus ride was very, they're probably overwhelmed with all the stuff that's happened to that point. And it's like, look at people saying, oh, well, there's been UFOs, how many people are honestly freaking out about that? It's like,
I mean,
maybe. I don't know. If some cops came in and were like legit trying to say somebody's going to jail, we're taking somebody away because somebody's a Martian, I'd be like, what? Get the fuck out of here. Is this a joke?
All right.
Where are the cameras? They're just
I mean,
all
it was
like,
the era of sideshows and things. Well, I guess probably maybe not the 60s. But I mean, you have people that I don't know. I can see what I 100% agree with you. I'm just trying to rationalize like them being cool with that being that cool as a cucumber about it.
I think it's because it was a 24-minute episode and they had to move shit.
Oh
along.
yeah, that's for sure. I mean,
Well,
ultimately, that's going to be your answer to this from a very practical perspective.
That's the thing that, and we'll start getting to the end because it comes up pretty quickly. There's like a sugar cup that explodes. The phone rings. The cop answers. They said the bridge is okay. You can cross and all that good stuff. And they board the bus, as you say, like in reverse or some. Was that right? The bus is in reverse. They board in through
they boarded on the driver's side again. It's just the image was flipped. That's really all there was to it, really.
And they go. This is my only qualm with this episode. They get on the bus, and then it cuts to the cafe, and the old man and the fedora, the hat, and the coat walk in. I didn't realize time had passed. I felt like I almost felt like I didn't know what was going on because he walks in, and Barney Phillips character is sitting there. He's like, why are you back? Aren't you supposed to be on the bus? And he's like, you're not even. He talks about how the bus collapsed on the bridge, similar to like Beetlejuice or something. And the cop car collapsed into the water because apparently Nan Adams was on the bridge or something like that.
Yeah, she got real dark real quick.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Everybody's dead. Well, yeah, you
yeah.
wonder, did the Martian do that? Did he?
Well,
he played. No, he played it. The bridge was already in bad shape. All he did basically was call ahead or call them to say, hey, the bridge is cool. So he was just being an asshole. Like, that's really all there is to it.
Oh, did he say that was him that called and said that?
Yeah.
Well, because
in a roundabout way, he didn't say I made the call, but he's like, oh, a telephone can be faked.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, because the people dying is the first kind of twist. It's not. I don't know if it's like a super twist, but it's just like it's kind of okay. So this is going there. And then it's revealed the Barney Phillips character asks, why aren't you wet? Did you like go in there? He's like, oh, no. And he pulls out his third arm or his tripod arm or whatever. And he's like, all those like things that happen, they're all parlor tricks and illusions or whatever. And it's like,
he says what probably many selfish men from that era said. He said, what's wet?
Oh my god.
Just saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's like the guy paid for 14 cups of coffee. I have to imagine that coffee drinkers out there don't really, I mean, unless they have a gigantic pot of coffee, they're not drinking.
They did.
14 cups of coffee.
It was a big thing. But you have to
14
think
cups
too,
of coffee?
No, the big, like they had the big pot behind the guy who owned the cafe.
I drink a lot of coffee, but 14 cups of fucking coffee.
Okay, but think about the
that's kind of your first
diner.
clue.
Okay, but think about the diner. You've got like a really crappy little diner out in the middle of freaking nowhere. They probably water that shit down something fierce.
Yeah, but he didn't have to go pee. He didn't have to pee.
He's from Mars.
He's
got 3 arms. One of them is probably he's probably pissing on the floor through one of his fingers.
He probably has bottles in his pocket. He's probably like
I thought the wily old man was drinking all the coffee.
I don't think so. Was he?
Oh.
I mean, he could have been. That
should have been a giveaway if it was. He's the Martian. Drink 14 cups of coffee
Did you also see how freaking insane he was? I mean,
well, that's what I'm going to say. So he's killed a bunch of people. He talks about how he has the third arm for one, and I think he's like lighting up a cigarette or something like that. He basically says he's from Mars and that they're going to colonize Earth, which means this is an Independence Day situation, which we need Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum and
Bill Pullman.
What's his face?
Bill Pullman.
Not Bill Pullman. We need he fucked his wife wearing a like a Bill Clinton mask or something like that. Randy Quaid.
What? Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Oh.
Yeah. He wore like a mask or somebody. Oh, I gotta send you the video, and then you gotta have Judd Hirsch in it. I mean, this is an Independence Day movie. Come on. But anyways, he said, we are from Mars. We've colonized it. We're coming to Earth to colonize it. And then that's the first twist. And I'm like, wait, so this guy's the Martian, but I remember Barney Phillips being the Martian, and Barney Phillips decides he's pulling the double on Chandra, where he basically goes, well, I have something to tell you. Not only am I a Martian as well, and I've been here
No,
for quite a
he's
while.
from Venus.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Venusian.
Yeah,
Venusian?
not only am I a Martian, but I'm from Venus, and we've intercepted and pretty much murdered your whole entire population because we're going to colonize Earth. I'm like,
Well, they've been there for quite a long time at that
Yeah.
point.
They put a flag in it.
There's the scrolls basically.
We have a
that
flag.
type of thing. Yeah, they have a flag. They have frag. Yeah. But he basically says, yeah, we pretty much murdered all your people. I'm like, holy shit. I was sitting there going, this episode went from being kind of fun and entertaining to just being like, damn, that's fucked up. Damn.
Well, they say that
my
men are
Mountain
from
Dew at?
Mars, women are from Venus. So
That's what I said in the trib.
that
Is
the,
this where the inspiration
the
for the book
female
came from?
killed all the men. I believe it. I'll buy it.
Where's the IL out? Oh man.
Absolutely.
She's gone from suck to blow, sir.
But yeah, so there you go. So basically, Barney Phillips has the third eye, as it's been, it's very famously known throughout annals of Twilight Zone and stuff like that. But no, seriously,
Third
like
eye in the annals.
yeah, the annals of Twilight Zone. So
Brown eye.
yeah, we got our first twist of people being killed. We got our second twist of being a guy with a third arm from Venus or from Mars. We got another twist of intercepting those people by Barney Phillips' character from Venus, and it's like this might be more darker than the fucking Nightmare as a Child episode. It's like, holy shit, this is what. Go ahead.
Well, when he told the diner guy Barney, when he told him that, I'm the Martian, he had 3 arms and all that, and how he was just kind of cool with it. He was just like not flipping his shit. It just kind of fit because everybody was so cool about all this other outlandish shit before that, and he was just like, So I was like none the wiser.
He's like, oh, well, that's good for you. Just
take off my ice cream hat.
Exactly.
Well, I was gonna say this actually reminded me of What If Third from the Sun, but more complete. Like it has that like holy shit ending, but it's actually a much better told story.
Oh yeah, it's better from beginning to end. Third from the Sun was just great in the end.
Right. Great in the end.
They did more in 24 minutes than Third from the Sun. Oh, the Twilight Zone episode, not the series. Okay,
terrible lay, but great ending.
It's
well,
like
that's
that.
What makes this so good, it's
had
got
good foreplay and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Team
well,
America
people.
with the puppets having sex, like Twilight, like the was it
What?
Third from the Sun is the like bounce like banging up against each other, and the this episode is like the shit on the face, that type of thing. So
okay, well, we know what Nick likes. If you like to have shit on your face too, contact Nick at Movie Emporium, also Pleasure Emporium and Bikini Emporium.
Due to my wife
Bikini Emporium.
Yes.
Due to my wife giving birth recently, things have been slower here in the house. So like I was about to be like, can we stop talking about this? But then you had to go and say shit on somebody's face. It's like, okay, we're good. There you go.
Oh man, good times have been done.
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
have left the conversation that I was talking about shit on people's face.
We have gone to plaid. I'm sorry, people.
Lost it.
Baseballs. Oh shit! There goes the planet. Oh man. So, anyways, that's the end of the episode. Quite as the British people say, a banger of an episode.
Oh yeah, very much. Yeah. There was actually a couple of fun trivia things on this. Initially on the first draft of this, which came out in I think 58, Serling wrote it as the alien being a dog that was owned by the bartender.
It's the Silent Hill 2 ending.
Yeah, exactly. And then the eye apparatus that Barney Phillips wears. Initially, it was supposed to move and roll and such. They actually built quite an extensive apparatus, but when it came down to doing it, it wasn't working properly. So he just has a staring third eye.
I figured it would have blinked at least like once or twice. And I was just.
And that's why
the George Lucas cut.
They meant it to. He's not as awesome as Jeff.
No.
Jeff.
Right. But yeah, There you go. Triv, I know how much you love this episode. I've grown to really like this episode too.
Aw.
Jacob, what did
Yeah, I
you think of
liked
the
it.
episode?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, it's quintessential Twilight Zone. It was very it was a solid episode from beginning to end, and it had a pretty good banger of an ending. Unfortunately, I as it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, I was remembering it as it happened. So that took a little bit of the like impact away from the end, but it was still really good. I really enjoyed it. If this is one of those episodes that like if somebody was like, hey, what's this Twilight Zone thing all about? This is one that I would like point him in that direction. It's not too super deep. It's got enough going on and it is deep enough to, to ease somebody into the Twilight Zone. This encapsulates what the Twilight Zone's all about,
Oh,
in my
absolutely.
opinion. So yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
So I think it's like top 10. I mean, we'll see in a few minutes, I guess, but it was very, very good, very solid. Definitely not even the middle, and not like a worst. I really enjoyed this episode.
Has all that good stuff. Like it is for me. It's right up my alley because it does have a lot of that dark humor. It is, as you said. I mean, it does have a fair amount of jovial about it. It's a straightforward one that works on a lot of levels.
And I think that's why, like, my only complaint about it is how accepting of everything everyone is of this crazy situation. But I think that works with the tone of the episode, the jovial kind of, we're not taking this too serious, we're just having a good time kind of feel. And it's not like it's done slapdash. It's still a well-made episode. It just has a very fun, loosey-goosey, jovial tone and attitude to it. And I think that it worked. If this was like a like straight-laced, hardcore, serious episode, like just in the performances and everything, I think that would have probably been much more critical of the whole cops come in and say, hey, there's a Martian in here and a flying saucer over there, and everybody's just like, oh. It kind of worked. It just worked with the tone of this episode.
I would agree.
Yeah. These episodes are like catnip for me when it comes to, we'll talk about it next week with the obsolete man. Just episodes where there's discussions and they're smartly discussed and things are not perfect and things happen.
Dude,
I like that this is not an archaic episode, but I like the fact that it's it's a straightforward like conspiracy.
Did we really have a smart conversation though? I mean, you mentioned shitting on someone's face.
Oh no, none of us are having smart conversations. We're here to talk about cups of Uranus.
Okay.
My professors in college, we just had conversations about defecating on each other all the time.
I can't say that that's something I've known. Yeah, that must be a guy thing.
It's a hallmark of a deep philosophical conversation, I think.
Jacob, hit us with the closing narration.
Oh, yes, closing narration. Incident on a small island, to be believed or disbelieved. However, if a sour-faced dandy named Ross or a big, good-natured counterman who handles a spatula as if he'd been born with one in his mouth, if either of these two entities walk into your premises, you'd better hold their hands, all three of them, or check the color of their eyes, all three of them. The gentleman in question might try to pull you in to the Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah,
And there
all three of them.
All right, so good times had by none because everyone died except for two people.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of dark.
The jovial,
Yeah.
one of the jovial guys stayed alive, so
I mean,
He's
did
not
they
even
have
wet.
to die? I guess that was just showing like their
Disdain
we
for
don't
human
care.
life?
Yeah, disdain for
Right.
human. There you go. It's late. They're disdain for human life and like because they didn't really have to die. It could have just been, oh yeah, they drove off and he didn't get on. Or And I am with Nick. I do want to go back real quick. The time, the way they showed time, the difference in time was not very good in that part because I thought, oh, the bus just drove off and he walked up. So I thought maybe he didn't get on the bus because it did kind of come across that way. I don't know if there was a fade or a transition or something like that. If there was, I didn't catch it. But he just I thought they drove off and he walked up. But no, apparently there had been some type of amount of time that passed. But I mean, that's a small quibble. No.
I probably would laugh my ass off seeing that bus just hurl down the bridge and into the water. It's just
those effects, like Toons is the cat.
You see it start flipping. It's like that the episode of The Simpsons. I think it was like Twilight Zone or Treehouse of Horror, where Hans Moleman's driving a gremlin, and the bus driver knocks the gremlin off the side of the road. It doesn't hit anything, still explodes into flames. So it's great stuff when
you
you
see like a model bus going down like this very fake mountain with like water and all that. Yeah, that was great. And then it just explodes.
Right.
Somebody needs to do that and edit that in.
Right. Shit. Anyways, so there you go. That's Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? Season 2, episode 28. Let's do it. Let's go into the Twilight Zone ranking list. The last thing we do, of course, this is the greatest ranking list ever known to man by creation.
The lanking wrist.
The lanking list, yes. The greatest lanking list ever. So I'm putting this in the top 20 somewhere. What do you guys think?
Number 3.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say number 17.
I will put this above number 13.
Number 13, Time Enough at Last.
Yes.
Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
Rip Van Winkle. I like this one more than that one. So yes, let's see what's around that. Time Enough at Last. The Howling Man. I know you love the Howling Man, but I like this more than the Howling Man. But I know that's gonna be a tough sell.
I will see your Howling Man and go Below the Silence.
Wow.
Below the
Actually,
Silence.
you know what? I'm going to go even farther. I actually think this is better than The Silence.
Holy crap.
The Silent. Oh yeah, that's the one with the
which I really love, but this one took me quite by surprise. So
I really liked even the more we talk about it, the tone of the whole thing. I think the tone was a huge like add to this because if they had played it differently, same exact story differently, just wouldn't have resonated the same. So yeah, I like The Silence. I'm not going to say I necessarily like this one more than The Silence or less because they're in that same area, but I think that this one is more indicative of what the Twilight Zone is. It's more classic Twilight Zone. So yeah, I'd be cool with that. I could put this above The Silence. It's just you and me. We haven't really asked Triv what she thinks.
Well, no,
she's just over there like
number 3.
Number 3. No, we will not do that, Triv. No, I wouldn't put this.
This is a better telling of that than Monsters Do on Maple Street, in my opinion.
Oh,
where's the stop button? I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink my Mountain Dew and just sit back and go.
Well, I want on that note because they are similar. We've already noted that, and I don't know how serious you are with the number 3 thing, but
I'm mostly
you love
kidding,
this episode. So you probably are.
I do very much. Like I would.
I don't want to put it lower because I want to put it lower. I want to know, like, Triv, where would you honestly put it?
Just generally for me, like I would put it very high because I like Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, but episodes that have more of a sense of humor about them are not that this was silly, but ones that do have more of that tone are ones that are gonna win me over any day of the week. I mean, I would say if it was just me, I would put it at 5 or 6. But this is not that case. I'm fine with you putting it at 10, 11.
Well, let me ask you this: like, as a impact episode, like the 10 top episodes we have so far, how impactful do you think this episode is compared to like A World of His Own or Nick of Time or Nightmare as a Child or taking away like when we talk about obsolete? When we talk about Obsolete Man, I have to look at it that way as well. But
absolutely,
like impact and just overall feel for Twilight Zone.
Well, and the thing is, there's 2 sides to impact. On one side, you have episodes like Nightmare as a Child and The Purple Testament that are intensely like they hit you hard. I even Shadow Play, I think, is one that hits pretty hard. On the other side, you have that rewatchability / that classic Twilight Zone, that thing that defines what it is to be an episode. Like you look at this and go, this is Twilight Zone. In this, of these things, for all of the impact that Nightmare as a Child and The Purple Testament left me with, I'm going to go back and watch this one. Even if it wasn't one of my absolute faves, I'm going to go back and watch this one because it is classic Twilight Zone more than those others for me. But again, I'm one person and, we all have our individual lists here.
Yeah. The only thing
I probably didn't answer your question.
No, you're fine. The only thing sticking with me is A World of His Own because that episode is just
Oh no, it's
bonkers
it's
amazing.
a freaking incredible episode.
Mm.
I mean, like I say, I'm good putting it at 11. Honestly, I genuinely am. If that's where you two guys are,
is that the
that's
movie
one.
set one, or is
That's
that
the
the
fourth wall
last
break.
one? Okay,
Yeah, that's the one where he
last
erases.
episode of
Yeah,
season
erases
one.
Rod. Yeah.
That's a great one
That
too.
was a good one. It had a pretty jovial tone as well.
Absolutely. And that's definitely like classic. That right there is also what I would say is like it has a great twist. You have Rod Serling clearly having a great time. It had a freaking elephant in it.
Man, we put a Stop at Willoughby a lot higher than I thought it was. Not that I hated that episode, but I didn't think I liked it that much.
Well, yeah, that was
Number
that was.
five.
I think that was before. Was that before you came on, Jacob?
No.
Or was that after? I
was
can't
here for that.
remember.
That was probably
Okay.
conversation that got us talking, honestly.
Maybe. I don't know. I just remember thinking that I'm thinking of the episode and I'm like, I mean, it was fine, but I don't remember it being number 5. I need to go back and watch that episode.
Well,
You know,
the
I-
only I'll say the
Our
only
episode.
episode that has survived the original before Jacob came on is Walking Distance.
True.
That's the first that's one episode Rob came on for the first
Yeah.
time.
And that episode is pretty, I mean, it's indicative
Yeah.
of a lot of things in that respect.
Here's
It's
where
kinda
I'll
hard
go.
to knock something that's number 4 down very far.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
have some stuff
Um,
that's like that much better than it. Wasn't it number 1 for a long time?
Yeah. was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, it
number 1 when
was.
I came on.
It was
yeah,
number 1 until Monsters came along.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they got knocked down by 2 of
Yeah.
them.
You know, and
I'm gonna do that.
Willoughby is one of those like when I first saw it, it had quite an emotional impact on me. But as I have watched it over time, it's still a good episode, but it lost a lot of its punch. It's still
Wasn't
a
it
very
Yeah.
good.
the end? Didn't something in the very, very, very end just really set it over the top? I think that's what it
That was when he jumped off the train, they were putting him into the car or into the
Yeah.
vehicle. It was a Willoughby and Sons. So it was like
That
a
was
funeral
I don't
funeral
remember.
company.
I need to go back and watch our episode.
I honestly, I think it was our conversation because I mean, depending upon who you talk to, you know, it's a list that could be looked at and people go, "What?" But I do think a lot of what drives this list is the conversation that we have. It's like those insights and everything. And not to say
Sure.
we're the end all be all of you know critics of this, but I do think it affects where things land.
we are.
You are.
Uh,
I'm just here for the beer.
No, I'm just here for the beer. You're just here for
No,
the
I'm
nonsense.
Here for the beer.
You're here for the
No,
alcoholic,
here's where I'll concede.
energy drink.
Here's where I'll concede. I am willing to go.
No, really,
right-
truly, I'm good with it. I'm good with it at
Shh.
11. Shh, on you.
I
Shh,
you're
on
talking
your
to a drunk
face.
guy right now. I
Here's a whole pile
will
of
go as
shh.
high as number 8, but I can't do it below shadow. I can't go below shadow play. But if you want to keep it at number 11, that's fine. But I'm just saying,
I'm
like,
okay there. Like this is a great
Trev,
episode, but what?
Be resolute, as I've learned.
Fine. I
Can't,
want
never
it at
could
number
do
3.
nothing.
Trev,
He says
I'm
can't.
replacing you. I'm replacing you with this delicious hard Mountain Dew.
Hard ass.
I'm drunk right now. What can I say?
Argue for what you want.
Fine. Number 8 then. We'll make it number 8.
Jay,
I mean, I was
what do you
thinking more
think?
like 15, but you know.
Okay, we're putting this above 17, so you should be happy. You mother. No, I'm just
Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, I'm cool with all these places. I mean, the only one I look at, like when we were talking about it, like around that 10, 11, and as you guys were like shifting in the top 10 area, I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it being above all of these. Purple Testament, that's a hard one, and Shadow Play is pretty hard. Those two are hard for me to go put
That's what
this
she said.
above. Real hard.
Is that what Trip plays? Shadow play with the hardness.
Sure. Purple testicles, shadow play. Shadow play with my purple
I mean,
testicles.
I will say I do think see now you got me questioning.
Hey man, make us believe.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You gotta
Do
fight.
you believe in love? After
See, I don't
love?
give enough of a shit one way or the other. The list is great, but in grand scheme. But yeah, World of His Own is probably a better episode overall. But this one is, I don't know. Like I say, number 3.
This is very classic.
Oh,
like
very much.
Twilight Zone. And you say, hey, what's Twilight? I'm not saying it's the best episode, but man, it is very much like this is Twilight Zone.
Right. I would
is
say even more
good.
so, and not that Time Enough at Last is in the running at the moment, but for as much as Time Enough at Last is like that quintessential Twilight Zone ep, I think this is probably more so than that.
Well, this is better because
This doesn't have
the whole
this
episode
doesn't have
is interesting and
committed
entertaining.
suicide.
Time Enough
Yeah.
at Last is kind of boring until the very end.
Right. Well, and the thing that makes it good, I
Not
think, is
very
Burgess
good.
Meredith. If you had put anybody else in that position, it wouldn't have been the episode it was.
Until he gets to the future, it's just kind of, or not future, but the post bombs. It's kind of, it's fine.
I mean, if you guys are cool with it at 8, I'm good with it there. Like
Down for whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it
Fine.
at this. Is this a better episode than Nightmare as a Child?
You can't compare them. I don't think they're too.
I would watch this before Nightmares.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I
That
think
goes
anybody
without
would. I don't want to
saying,
see
I
no
mean-
pedophilia anymore. Pedophilia ruined my life with that episode.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Well, absolutely.
I'm not
But
talking
from
about
a watchability.
what it has to say and all that. Take all that out. Just as an episode, yeah, this is better.
And the thing is, one space doesn't. I mean, and eventually, most of everything that's in the top 10 will be someplace else. But yeah, I
don't
think.
know.
Except for Invaders.
Well, yeah, that goes out.
It will go
I'm
up.
gonna make my ambition to get
I don't
Invaders
think
at
that's
number
gonna happen.
29.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, I will make it so.
No.
There is a thing called editing, Triv. I don't know if
No,
you know about it.
Oh no, I don't know anything about editing.
So, are we good at number 8?
Yeah.
You
Sure.
want to do that?
Despite my waffling.
You knew you were gonna have this happen. You're just
Yeah.
like, I'm playing my
Despite her
playing
blue
my
waffle.
revenge.
Number 3. I told you number 3.
Number
But
3
you
will
said
not happen.
no.
You're only 5 off.
I put my foot down. Yeah, we're not doing that. No, not doing
I
that.
actually did
We're
not
not
think that
doing
this was
it.
going to
We're
be a
not
top
doing
10.
it. Huh?
When we sat down and started talking about it, nothing against the episode, but I did not think that this was going to be a top 10 episode. I thought it was going to be
I
high.
mean, it still
I thought
can.
would be
It
like
still
in the
can
teens.
be if you want to be.
And I mean, I thought it was going to be like in the teens, like a
Mm.
really solid, fun, great episode. But you know, hey,
Jacob, you won. It pushed Perchance to Dream to number 18.
we need to get it to number 72.
Maybe at the end of
Yeah.
this run we'll get it there.
No, I mean like today, like as of today.
I don't think that's how that works.
After today, let's see. At the end of all this, it needs to be number 165.
Jacob, why are you emailing me? Tell me to send over my raw footage files.
Oh, I was like, well, I didn't do it.
It's like I will edit this and it will be correct.
Good April Fool's Day
Let me-
thing right
Let
there.
me take over the whole.
He
the
wants to
ranking
take
part of
it off your
I
hands
wanna
because
take
you're
some
so
off your hands.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do so
It's
much.
like
You do so much.
why is it Invisible Ink Operation Perchance to Dream at number 69?
That's
mean,
what
each
she
week-
said.
From then on, each week, every time you guys are like, "Well, where are we ranking this?" I'm like, I don't care. It's gonna go where the fuck I want it to go. Wherever.
Okay, yeah, that's good. We'll do it. We'll put it there. Trev, I hope you're happy. You won.
Yay. Well, I
I will
wanted
not
it at
remember
number
this
3.
tomorrow.
I'm very unhappy.
Oh well, suck it up, Buttercup.
Oh my god.
Terribly vexed.
Yeah, right. Okay, so new number 8. Will the real Martian please stand up? Number 64, Trouble at Templeton. Number 1, Eye of the Beholder. Next week, season finale of season 2. We've gotten to season 2, season finale. 3 more seasons from then on. This is a top 5 episode for me. I don't know how you guys feel, but this is, of course, season 2, episode 29, called The Obsolete Man. It's basically an homage to 1984 Orwellian story. Burgess Meredith, written by Rod Serling, directed by Elliot Silverstein. Fritz Weaver is in this movie or this episode. He's great. This episode, yeah. Oh yeah, no,
I remember the name. When
Yeah.
I sit down, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember.
It's got a lot of like very striking visuals. Like just the way it feels very like German impressionism.
Yeah,
Like it's got that very like
it's
exaggerated feel. Like the use of
Yeah.
line and shadow is strong in this.
this is episode like Eye of the Beholder and what's the one, the Martian, the book, the food book,
To Serve Mankind.
To Serve Man.
Serve Man.
This is one. Yeah, this is one of those episodes that's talked about as like one of the greats in like TV Anals.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
say it again. Anals, so.
And
No,
Nick likes
anyways,
the
This is like
anals.
anal.
yeah, the hot cups of your anus anals.
Mhm.
Anyways, so with that said, that is next week's episode. I can't wait to talk about it. We are going to hopefully, if everything goes well, have a returning guest that may have just been on recently, but we'll figure that out when it comes to that point. Yeah. Anyways, with that said, that's also the end of our talking. Will the real Martian please stand up? Triv, Jacob, you are wonderful peoples. I love you.
Aw.
I respect you. But God damn it, get off this channel. No, I'm kidding. Anyways,
Fine.
Triv. Triv, you have a channel. You've been knocking out some content just in the last few days. Awesome content with, of course, Dan from TYTD. But if they want to find your content and listen to the Pleasure Emporium, where can they find that? That of course is Henry Cavell and whatever the other guy's name is.
Jesus. Anyway, you can find me here on YouTube at Trivial Theater. I have dropped 2 relatively large vids in the past couple of days. As of Monday, the first one will have been out for a week. Both are on this really odd movie called Wicked World. One is a discussion and one is the outright riff. Definitely check out both. They're pretty great. Other than that, other content's coming down the road. Future War, as well as some individual reviews. So definitely keep an eye out for those. You can also see me on Twitter and IG at Trivial Theater.
Excellent. Jacob, I know you're busy right now with kids and chicken coops and stuff like that, but you do have a channel. There are videos on there. You keep saying there's a video coming. I'm waiting for this video, but I know you're very, very busy. But
I
plug
worked on
it
it today.
Did you know?
I did.
It's a multi-year project.
It's gonna be.
Yay!
I haven't worked on it like in a while, but today was the first day I actually sat down and said, all right, I gotta get this thing done. So yeah. It will be coming soon, probably in parts. Probably it'll be a 6-part series. So five or 6-part series. And in the end, I'll put it as one big one. I'm hoping in the next, because I finally decided I just need to get this thing done. So probably in the next few weeks. And on like the other front, like movies and stuff, like movie reviews, been slacking on that, been kind of busy. I've seen a lot of movies lately. I even did some catching up on some stuff here recently, but I just hadn't had time to like either A, haven't had time to like sit down and review one or like shoot a review, or B, I just had no desire to do it. Like some of the movies I saw, I was just like, I don't want to talk about this movie. So, but yeah, there's some. I know that there's some movies that I'm going to shoot. I hope to get back to doing at least one a week, starting this week. So should see. It's been. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I put any content out on my channel. Just been.
You've been otherwise occupado. It's okay.
Shit going on.
Yeah. Even having to deal with diapers and being shit on and all that.
Well,
good stuff.
and I've recently started a
plug
business.
that shit, bitch.
Yeah.
So
put it in there.
I mean, it's not really a plug. It's on eBay. So I mean, I fix shit and I sell it, mostly like video game consoles and stuff. So, and that's working well for me right now. So that takes up a good amount of my time, but I'm still trying to like work out all those kinks, and then I should get back to content creation a bit more. And I may actually work some of it in there because I know people are into that whole like, how does this work and that work? So maybe I'll do some live streams of. We'll see. Stuff coming on the tubes, the YouTubes.
Yeah, and I have the link in the description, I believe. So yeah, definitely buy his refurbished video game systems because I'm sure they're top tier good stuff. So, anyways, with that said, you can find what's that?
Is it? I hope so. Thank you. Everybody likes him so far.
Excellent. So with that said, I am at Movie Emporium. That's where I have my content. I've been doing episodes of Poker Face. Really like that series. I think it's great, entertaining. Other stuff. Look forward to upcoming stuff like Scream 6 is coming out soon. So other than that, you can find us on audio feeds, Anchor, iTunes, Google Play, some other stuff that I can't think because of my drunkenness right now. But yeah, there we go. So without further ado, we're heading out. We're going to be back next week. And for myself, Triv, and Jacob, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Pitball, motherfuckers. Peace out.
Adios.
We needed her in this.
Oh man, that would have been awesome.
They're always coming.
Loud noises, or what is it?
Coming.
Anger like flames coming out of my head.
It was so it's just flames coming out.